above the site of one of the latest Israeli airstrikes in southern Gaza. Rescuers frantically digging through the rubble for survivors. Israel says it doesn't deliberately target civilians and blames Hamas for its cynical use of civilian areas to place its rocket launchers and command and control bunkers. But the resulting collateral damage is significant, with its clear, huge loss of life. Aid supplies here are vital, but the United Nations says the trickle of trucks crossing the Egyptian border is nowhere near enough.
While the situation remains extremely dire, we call for an unimpeded and continuous flow of humanitarian assistance and medical assistance to continue coming into Gaza. We see that the trucks have come in so far are just a trickle in the face of the immense needs of people on the strip.
Across the Gaza skyline, there are regular explosions, often Israeli forces responding to the latest launch of Hamas rockets. And despite the huge escalation in Israel's aerial attacks, there appears to be no shortage in Hamas's deadly arsenal. Yesterday afternoon, central Israel suffered its largest barrage of Hamas rockets since the attacks of October 7th. Sirens sounded across Tel Aviv as the country's Iron Dome missile defence system intercepted dozens of rockets. Northeast of Tel Aviv, one rocket made it through those defences and badly damaged a building. It came on the day Israel was celebrating a small piece of good news in this conflict, with the release of these two elderly hostages. 85-year-old Yocheved Lifshitz said she was determined to help the Israeli military by telling them as much as she can about her ordeal. Already at this early stage, the Israeli authorities have been given valuable insight into what happened to these two hostages on October the 7th. They'll be speaking to both women in the coming days to try to gain a greater understanding of the conditions they were held in. After his meeting with Israeli leaders, the French President Emmanuel Macron met the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, determined to focus minds on a more positive future after this conflict. But for those burying their dead in Israel and in Gaza, any talk of peace must be the very last thing on their minds. Mark White, GB News, Tel Aviv.